Wow, you just killed my vibe
There we
right
go.
now. Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Rusanganwa. I'm the Deputy CEO of Operation for the Global Institute for Youth. I would like first for the guests to introduce themselves and tell us what they do and what they're from. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Well, my
Hi
name is
everyone. Okay. You can start, Gasparino.
okay. My name is Gasparino Gordian Haule. I am the student of Bachelor of Arts in International Relations from the University of Dodoma, Tanzania. Also, I am the EAC Youth Ambassador to Tanzania.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. It's Mukazi Ndekezi. I'm a student in Year 4 International Relations at Kigali Independent University, and I am the East African Community Youth Ambassador in Rwanda.
Okay, thank you very much. As I can see, like you're all from East Africa, and I would like you guys basically to explain to the audience that are outside of the East African countries, what is East Africa basically for you guys? First of all, what is East Africa community?
Can you start, please?
Please, can you start?
Actually, when I look at East African community, I'm seeing a lot of opportunities for young people to grow. Up to now, it has been working with the government of the. Now, what we need to build this region is
Okay.
young people who can do it. So I see East Africa as as something that can bring a lot of opportunities to young people to shine. Thank you.
Okay. Gasparino?
For me, sorry.
Yeah, I would like you first, before you start telling us what it is exactly, first tell us which country are in there and then explain to us. Thank you.
I am from Tanzania.
No, the
And
country in East African community.
in East
I'm sorry.
Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, the East African Community is the regional intergovernmental organization of the 5 partner states, which are the United Republic of Tanzania, Republic of Kenya, Republic of Rwanda, Republic of Burundi, and the Republic of Uganda. So they make the total of 5 countries which are composing the community. And the East African Community, to me, it is an organization which is aimed at creating the unity and the communal sense of 5 partner states, as we share the common culture, the common ideology, we share the common economic basis. So they are trying to bring these countries together and to make the people from these 5 partner states to feel like they are one, as according to the status, the motion of the EAC, which is the motto, which is one people, one destiny. So it is to make the people from the 5 partner states to be really one people, one destiny.
Yeah, thank you for your answers. My second question will be mostly about your countries you're representing right now. I would like to ask you to tell us more about the situation of the youth in terms of representation, employment, and access to information and other things in your country, basically. Can you tell us some more about that? I'll start with Gasparino.
Okay, in terms of youth representation and employment, as to Tanzania is concerned, we have low youth representation in both in our national government and also to the East African community level, and it is something that we young people are now coming up with. We are talking much about youth representation in this. First of all, in our national organs, like in the national parliament, And then we're going further to the community, the East African community, whereby we want more young people to be represented, and not only to be represented, but to be participating directly in all of the activities that are including done in this organization or in this government. In terms of employment, we know like this is the trend in not only in East Africa but in the whole of Africa, whereby most of the young people are unemployed. Uh, you can see like 60% of the young people in the region are not employed, and we're talking about formal employment, which are registered and in different government acts. But also, young people are now trying to do informal employment. This is what is being practiced in our country.
Okay, thank you very much. But I understand that you're from Tanzania, but do you also
Yes.
have an idea of other countries involved, like for example, like countries that are not represented here, like Uganda and Burundi? Do you have something else to say about that?
What I think is that you know, in our ambassadorial work, we have been going to different countries like Burundi, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. What I have seen, the situation is more or less the same. The statistics for the people for the young people who are employed is almost the same. Like what differ is the extent to which like these people are participating themselves in getting out of this problem of unemployment, for example, or on how they want to be more represented in their national organizations. This is what differs. But in terms of statistics, I think the statistics are the same.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Peace.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Thank you. For the youth representation, up to now, like us, we have the youth representation. We have the National Youth Council, the Ministry in charge of Youth and ICT, and in the Parliament we have 2 representation of youth. But we have requested all together the all East African Youth Ambassadors and Deputy Youth Ambassadors to have a representation in the East African Legislative Assembly. We need to be represented everywhere so that we can... Hello? Can you get...
yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes. We need a strong representation so that we can engage fully in the integration process, but also in our country decision making. In terms of unemployment, it's still a big problem up to now. Young people are not getting jobs, so that's one of the reasons that lead them to join the rebellions because of unemployment. So it is still a big problem. That's, yes, they say like you can create jobs promoting young entrepreneurs, but as we know, everyone is not made to become an entrepreneur. It's not very easy for everyone to think about a project that will develop. So it's still a big challenge, and we can see that the government, the East African community is doing its best to see if they can promote all young people, but we cannot ignore that it's still a big problem to get jobs in the whole of Africa.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Peace. I see there's a bit of, like, you can tell there's a difference between representation in Rwanda and Tanzania, as Gasparino said it, but also you know how it is in Rwanda, but can you say more about other countries in East Africa that are not represented here?
Yeah, in Uganda they have also youth representation. In Burundi, as we have been told, like they have, it's a sort of council of youth. It's not really a representation of youth, so they have advocated for it. They are working on it, and the last news we have, they were about to implement it in the country this year. But with the problems right now, we don't know yet what is going to happen.
Okay.
For Kenya, they have youth representation, but all of us, we need that youth representation that will help us to engage fully. We can have the representation, but it doesn't mean that all the young people engage in that. They can express their mind. They can express what they think about the decision making of the country. It's something that needs to be enhanced and put a lot of effort in.
Yeah. So we need to do something about that. I hope the
Yeah.
youth is listening. Okay, for the next question, you guys talked about challenges, and I guess there's different challenges in each country, but I would like you guys to mostly tell us what's the most challenges that youth are faced in East African community, first in your country, and then touch upon like other countries as well. I'm gonna start by Peace.
Yes, thank you. One of the biggest challenge that we have faced, during our sensitization program, as we often do sensitization in different universities, we have seen that young people, students, they are not very aware about the East African community. They are not well informed. So it's like you decide to discuss about something, you decide a theme that should be discussing, but when you reach, you have to first teach them what is the East African community, which I think if you don't know what is the East African community, so you cannot.
Okay, Gasparino.
The challenges that youth in Tanzania are facing, one of which is like that we have been talking about, unemployment. This is the major challenge. Most of the young people are unemployed. And then we have the challenges in the education sector, like the number of the people who are going to school, the number of the young people who are going to school is not represented, like it doesn't give sense to the total number of the young people who are in our population. Not our population. In our population, we are most like the young people are like 60% of the total population, and maybe only 20% of these 60% have access to education. And here I talk about positive education, the education that can make these young people to be aware about themselves and to understand the situation that is taking place in the world at large. The other problem is now the problem of education make these young people not to be aware. Like they're not aware of the community, they're not aware of themselves, they're not aware of their government, they're not aware of the politics in their country. So you can see like they're not aware about anything. Then this also leads to poor participation in different activities, political, cultural, and social. Thank you.
Yeah. And is it the case in East Africa in general?
Sorry?
Is it the case in East Africa in general? Is it the same issue in East Africa?
What I think is the situation differs, but the level of difference is not that much big. You find the situation is the same.
I think
I guess Peace is trying to say that she thinks so as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's move on to the next question, basically. Like you spoke about challenges about education, basically in Tanzania mostly, and not having enough information. So
Yes.
the next question will be basically like, how can they overcome those challenges in Tanzania mostly?
To overcome these challenges, the first thing is for the young people themselves to be like to have the spirit of wanting to come out of these problems. Like the young people are the one to drive themselves out of these problems, and they can drive themselves through different channels. Now here we'll come to talk about the like participation and having more awareness in the education system, like to participate in decision makings, because these things are the effect of poor decision makings. And if the young people are involved in decision making, in the things that are involves themselves, they can be able to decide for the better of themselves and the better of their country. So the most important thing that I see is to involve these young people in decision making, and not young people to wait to be involved, but young people to find the ways for them to be involved.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is Peace, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the question also goes for you in Rwanda. You spoke about challenges. So basically, what can the youth do to overcome those challenges, basically?
Actually, the challenges are many, but what I think the youth can do is, first of all, they have to learn. They have to have this aspiration to know about East African community, because if without knowing the continent, you cannot even be aware of the whole world. So basically, they need not the effort of anyone else. Them doing it, them going to do research on East African community, and all information can be provided on the internet, even on the ministries. They can have all information they need about the East African community. So I think they need first to have the spirit of research and try to see what is happening in the world. You know, the many times we are thinking that we cannot have jobs, we cannot have we are not aware about opportunities that are given, but the problem is that how can you apply an opportunity without knowing it? So I believe there will be a lot to provide. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the for all the answers. But I guess we can say that we need as a youth, like I'm speaking as a youth from East Africa because I'm also from Rwanda. So I guess we should all try and get more information, try to do something and not wait for the people to tell us what to do, basically. And I guess we should all agree on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much. And my next question will be basically, in what specific ways are the youth and students critically engaged with policymakers on issues concerning the youth and their interest and our interest, basically?
Hello?
Yeah, I'll go with Gasparino first and then Peace on that one.
Sorry, may you come again with the question?
Okay, my question is, in what specific ways can students and youth critically engage with policymakers on issues concerning the youth and our interests? So basically, what ways do the youth engage themselves in the policymakers, especially when it comes to issues concerning us and our interests?
Thank you. I will talk for the experience of what is being done and what should have been done, like how the situation is now and how the situation could be
Could
improved.
be, yeah.
What I see in most of the East African countries, like the young people are being segregated, if not segregating themselves from policy making or from these policymakers. It is it is in these recent years that the young people are coming out now and they want to be heard and they want to be participating in the policy making. So what the youth can be doing is to involve themselves either by discussing and having dialogues with the policy makers, or by being a part in the policy making. I think by taking part in policy making, this will be the best option for the young people to engage themselves with the policy makers. As I want to give you an example, I think Peace can agree with me. In our ambassadorial team, one of the things that we came and we saw was poor involvement of the young people in the integration process. And we first of all wrote a petition to East African Legislative Assembly, which is the law-making body of the East African community, and it is the policy-making organ of the East African community. So this was a very, very fast and hard step to make, but then with the support from different people, from different organizations, youth organization, we were able to present the petition to the East African Legislative Assembly sitting in Burundi. And it was a very strong petition, which was talking about youth involvement and youth representation. And also it discussed about different challenges that the young people are facing in the region, and on how the IALA could help us to solve those challenges. So I think if the other young people will follow this trend and keep on writing petitions, participating themselves, involving themselves in this policy making, we will come up with the best practices to involve ourselves in policy makers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Peace.
Yes, thank you. I totally agree with Gasparino. And what I can add, yes, last year in committee in all the partner states, there was something like strategies and policies whereby they invited young people to suggest the policies that they think that they can go through. So they were suggesting, so those policies will go. The policymakers will have to accept it or deny it. But that thing happened, and we did not have any feedback up to now. Meaning that, yes, young people can have the willing to engage, but it doesn't mean that they have the power to, like, what they have suggested will be implemented. That's the big problem. But also, we can. It's not like because there is a problem we have to sit and wait. We have to go and continue pushing until they understand what we really want, and until the policymakers give us this opportunity to set our own policy. I believe that young people are the one who can set well their policies, not our elders, because the elders, they have limitation. They are hello, excuse me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, there are limitations. There is something like a radio. I don't know. Excuse me.
Yeah, I can hear
Hello?
you.
Yeah, there is a radio that is a bit disturbing.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
I was saying, what we can do is continue pushing so that the policymakers can understand our ideas, because most cases the policymakers are our elders, and the elders, we can say, they can give us the good advice, but they are not aware of what young people can do right now, because if they think for us, they will think for their period, which I think we have. We are no longer there. We have developed a lot. So I can call upon the policymakers and young people to all engage and work together. But up to now, I cannot say that all the decision, all our suggestion can be put in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answers. Basically, the next question will be the role that the youth can play in helping with the integration of the East African community. Because we know the main goal is to integrate ourselves, but how can we as youth from East African countries help in that? Basically, I'll start with Peace and then Gasparino.
Thank you. First of all, there is 4 stages of integration: the customs union, common market, monetary union, and the political federation. And all the 4 stages, if they are to be realized, if it happens that they are realized, then the East African community can become one federated state. But for it to happen, that's where the role of young people come. In terms of the common market and the customs union, yes, we can have a lot of benefits like free movement, but also the free movement is not just to go and visit, but also we can use our ideas. We can be creative and innovative to create big ideas that can lead the whole East African community. Our role is to fully engage in every activity of the East African community, because we have and another thing, we have been facing young people. We like to say about our rights, people to respect our rights, but also before respecting our rights, we have to know our duties. Many people say that the East African community is political. With my experience, only politics matters. It's also the engagement among the role of young people in strengthening and building the East African community is to love the East African community, to have the unity, because some of the challenges that people face, they often say, why can I go there, and they will tell me like to forget about my culture. But the good thing is that I have seen that the East African community provide cultural diversity. Every culture is respected, which is a positive thing, which I believe that young people can go and learn to live together, learn from others. We may have different different needs that help our country to grow. But if all the needs will link them, it can help us young people to fight unemployment, but also to be developed. And as I think now, the main issue of young people is to have a sustainable life, to have a sustainable development. So the East African community is in some sort a solution to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gasparino.
Yes, for me, the major role that the youth can play in integration is participation. Like the young people should participate in different activities which are involving the integration process. As Peace said, the integration process has 4 stages, and these 4 stages are not for the leaders or for the president. These stages are for the citizens, the common mwananchi, and the young people are also included in these common mwananchi. And apart from participation, there can be using of taking advantage of different channels of the EAC, like different organs, like East African Legislative Assembly, the East African Court of Justice, the EAC Secretariat. All of these can be the ways in which the youth can participate or can contribute in the integration process. The activity, but when the Secretariat is having a certain activity, the young people should participate. When the East African community, maybe there is a summit on climate change, a summit on terrorism, a summit on peace and security, the youth should be there. This is the role that they have to play. And also another thing is on a thing like this, like discussion, dialogues, talks, and training about the EAC. So these are the roles that the youth can play to ensure that the EAC integration is going further. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. As a youth representative, like, what do you consider is the role of the youth and young people within the national and international sphere? I'll go with Gasparino and then Peace.
This question is almost the same as the first question, like the previous question on the role of youth on EAC integration, and now you're asking about the role of youth on nationals and international sphere, isn't it?
Yeah.
The role of youth in their nation, in national sphere, youth should first of all be the engine for the change. Uh, as you know, like the young people, we constitute the majority of our populations. And if we young people, we want to change something, it is very easy. Only what we need is that passion to change. So if we want to change, like there are many things, many problems that are facing our communities. We have pollution, we have poor infrastructures, we have poor education systems, and many other problems, diseases and what. So the young people are the one who can help to change these problems. There is one say I always remember wherever they say the young people, when they do something, they do it with fire. Like if you tell them do something, they do it once without asking. So if we change this mentality into doing positive things, we'll have a very better community. So the first role is to change, to be the driver for change, the driving factor, to be the drivers for change. This applies in national as well as in international affairs. Thank you.
And I guess as an international sphere, to add to that, is that now we have many ways of communicating, and we have social media as well, which can also help us in communicating more among us, among other young people and the other young leaders all over the world. And this might bring a change, as you said, and bring fire and change many different things. I just wanted to add that. Yeah. Thank you very much for your answer. And now it's Peace. Can you say more about that too? Peace. I think we've lost Peace.
Yeah, maybe she's offline.
Yeah. So I'll just go with the next question then, so we can move on. As a youth ambassador, what has been your greatest challenge, and how were you able to overcome them?
The very big challenge that the youth ambassadors we are facing is the time. This is because youth ambassadors are university students, so we have university timetables and schedules, and within these schedules we have to fix time to go and sensitize the other university students in different universities. So in a vast country like Tanzania, whereby you can travel 12 hours by bus to another region, this is a very big challenge, like managing time between studies and EAC ambassadorial activities. But with the help of our coordinators and different people from different parties.
Yeah. Peace is back.
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay,
you just finish and I'll ask her after.
Okay, so with the help of our coordinators and different people in different places, we have been able to overcome this challenge. And the way that I use to overcome this is to have a teamwork. Like it is not necessarily for me to go everywhere. So to some places where I couldn't reach, I could direct some people who are near to there, and like who have already been participated in our training, because the first thing we did after returning back from the training, whenever we go for training, when we come back, we call all the youth leaders, the youth club leaders, and we train them on what we have been trained on. So this has made our work somehow easy, because when we are not able to travel, we just direct a leader in that club or someone who is near there to go there and sensitize the students. So this is how we have been able to solve the problem of time. Then the other problem is the vastness of some countries like Tanzania and Kenya, and Uganda as well. It is not easy to reach everywhere. I had the passion of reaching each university in this country, but I couldn't. I've only reached 6 universities because of the vastness of the country. Then the other problem, the other challenge is fundings. Like fundings are sometimes not coming on time. So it has been not easy for us to, sometimes you have to use your own money, then you'll be refunded. But so things like that, you know, when it comes to finance. So those are the major challenges that I've been facing.
Okay, thank you very much. Peace, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The next question is basically, as a youth ambassador, what
Yes.
has been your greatest challenge and how were you able to overcome it?
The greatest challenge. Oh, this question, I think you asked me before.
No,
Hello?
as an ambassador, you yourself,
Oh,
not the
okay.
youth, you.
Yes. The biggest challenge as a youth ambassador was sometimes we couldn't be recognized. So it asked a lot of effort to tell people to know about us. We go to the website, we show them the debate and other stuff for like some university to understand us. That's one of the challenge. The second one was was like students to understand our mission, what we really want from them, because we have seen that many people think about money. So when you invite them in a meeting, they think about what they will get about it, what you will give them. And as us, we don't have the financial resources we request for financial resources, which the same problem that we have faced all the youth ambassadors. Sometimes we have to use our money and be refunded, which ourselves we are students and we don't work. So to go and subsidize with your own money, sometimes it will limit you. It limited us in doing some activities. In actually many activities, we have been limited to do them, but I think for the future it will be sought. And another challenge was to make people like in the clubs, creating the clubs. We have faced that the club coordinators many times they think about like what are we going to get? Is the secretariat going to give us the certificate? So you have to make them understand that first of all, let's first learn what is the East African community, know about the East African community, so that we can also request for all other stuff. So actually, basically, those have been the challenges that we faced, and we pushed until we get the answers from some of them, and others we will still continue and see what we can do in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question is basically, you have been working with, you represent the youth in your countries, and I would like to ask you, like, how can we better engage the youth in development and other global challenges, basically? I'll start with Peace and then Gasparino.
The way we can develop, like young people, first of all, for them to be developed, we can advise people to be engaged, but we cannot tell them, like we cannot engage them by force. So it starts by their own, like their own need. If they really want to that development, from my ex young people be involved. The way they can be engaged first is to study. Nowadays, I've seen that institutions are saying that they don't have students, they don't have people, they don't have years. And young people, they say the same thing, they cannot get a job. And then the organization are saying the problem, first of all, they have to be qualified, has to be the best education system for young people to be involved and to do the best that at least 99% of the population, if possible, the 100% of the population can have access to school, so that because a lot of opportunities in global development, even the national development, students are the one to know them. So it will be better if all the citizens can have access to school, and by the time they are studying, they will know what are the opportunities and be aware of how they can engage, because a lot those opportunities, the global development, you can see when they have even application, they need young people, the age is 18 to 25, they need young people to apply those opportunities. But there's a lot of question, and if you are not educated, you can't apply those opportunities. It's impossible. You see that there's limitation to people who study. It's something that if it was possible that all young people can study, then I believe they can be engaged. It is not even the matter of the youth ambassador or the representation of young people to tell them, because they will seek for themselves those opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Peace. So basically, education will be an answer for, like, do we need to do more when it comes now to, like, engage them in development and global challenges, or is it to just say that they need more information? And, like, how do we engage them basically? Like, I understand that it's one thing to engage, but then what about engaging them in specific areas like development and global challenges, basically?
Yes. If it's like the development, agricultural development, yeah, the majority of the population, for example, in Rwanda, they do agriculture in terms of like the people who have that power to create jobs, to create the initiatives that many people can be involved in. Those are the ones who will engage those people, because you engage them through the sectors and the provinces that they belong to. So there are sectors, they call upon a meeting and they meet, you tell them about the plan. That's the first way I think everyone can be engaged. There is the engagement in terms of development that is done into universities when they need people who have been educated to do in terms of global change. Actually, they always need people who have been educated. But in terms of the national development, there's a lot of sectors that need to be improved. And I have seen that, like in France now, the agricultural population, the people who practice agriculture, actually they have boosted the economy of the country. They brought a lot in the country, like 70% of their incomes is coming from the agricultural sector, meaning that we are still down, because we can have 80% of people, of the whole population, who is 80% of the population who is involved in agriculture, but we don't produce that. That's the thing that we should learn, how to produce more, that the agriculture, because many people practice it, can be the one to boost our economy. That's one thing in terms of the economic development. There's also infrastructure. Infrastructure, actually, it's called upon everyone. It's not the matter of people who are educated or not. It's a matter of the whole population to be involved. So by now, many people, we can say that many people who have not been educated are getting jobs, because of they are building houses, many houses, they are building roads, those things that it requires many people. So young people, most of them are engaged in building that. So it helps them, the educated one, and then the people who did not have the chance to attend school to get the job. So that's how I think they can be involved in the development. It's about creating something, an activity, an initiative that you call upon young people, and they come and participate regarding the domain that you want them to participate in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gasparino.
The way in which we can engage the young people in development, the first thing is I would like to agree with peace. Is like before taking them to a very, very specific area, first of all, we have to create awareness about development to young people. Young people should know what development is. Then from there, it is where we can go now to very specific things. Because if you take them to a certain development programs and they don't understand what development is, they will just do it for fun, or they will just do it so as to pass by time. And it is what most of the young people are doing now. They are doing things not for development, but just to make to make the day to end. So first of all is to create awareness about development. Then we young people should know that development starts with each one of us. Like it starts with us. We are the one to develop our nations. We are the one to develop our societies. And we can develop now coming to specific sectors like economic sectors, employment, the things of health services, which is now the very, very crucial sector in our region, the health services, the health sector. Health services are to be dispatched even to the local levels where there are local people they are living, like local people who can't access the health services. Then we can talk about economic sectors in different economic activities like agriculture, speaking from my country, the example from Tanzania, we call agriculture is the backbone of our economy. So you can see like most of the young people are involving themselves in agriculture, and most of the population involves in agriculture. So we can involve these young people in agriculture, but a modern agriculture. We can take them out from hand hoe to machines like tractors, combine harvesters, and this can be done. But first of all, we have to create awareness about this. Now you will have to do training about using of the scientific methods of agriculture. Then coming to business sector, most of the young people are involving themselves in business sector, but at end the output of that is too low. It is too low in the sense that, first of all, the government is putting a lot of legislative conditions like taxes and taxes. Then also the young people themselves, they don't know how to manage the finance. After getting the profit, how are they going to divide it? How are they going to use for domestic purposes, and how are they going to use it for development of the business they're doing? So this also needs training about how to manage the businesses. These small informal sectors, how are the young people going to manage themselves? But also the other thing is to create a way in which these young people can secure funds, can secure capitals. Young people can come together in a group and ask for funds, ask for groups to ask for financial assistance to conduct these different economic activities that they're doing, which will bring development to their countries. So this is the way that I think the young people can be engaged in development activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My last question is about social media. We have seen our generation uses social media like every day. It's a daily thing, and we have seen many things happening with social media and many changes because of social media. So to what extent can social media help young people engage in dialogue with policymakers, basically? I'd like to know what you have to say more about that. I will start with Gasparino and then go to Peace.
Social media is a very, very crucial thing that we can talk about now when we come to youth development, because I am sure that every young people is on social media, either on Twitter, Facebook, Skype, or whatever. Like in every young people is at least in one social media. And we can use this platform to bring about, to interact with the policymakers and also to interact among ourselves. One example is this: we are doing Google Hangouts and we are talking about youth development. We are talking about youth participation in the EAC integration process. And this could go further by involving ministers of East African Community Cooperation in the partner states. We can involve the EAC Secretariat. We can involve different people from the EAC who can come here and join us in this discussion. The same thing can be done by the young people in different areas. I have an example of the WhatsApp group here in Tanzania. It is called Tanzanian Youth Network. Uh, there, like when you see the discussion in that group, the discussion are so positive. You see like people are talking about development. Young people are sharing productive information. They're sharing job opportunities. They're sharing conference information about conferences, about training, about different programs like degree programs, school programs, and you see like every day people are discussing about how can they develop, how can the young people bring about development in their societies. So this example can be followed by other young people out there who are using social media for negative things. Social media was created not to destroy the world. It was created to build the world, to create the world. So young people can use these forums. The East African Community Youth Ambassador Platform is having online discussion. The online discussion is based on Facebook and Twitter, whereby you can engage directly to the Secretary General of the East African Community, Dr. Ambassador Richard Sesbera. He is there to answer the questions. He's commenting on different topics that are being discussed. And young people are being involved in Facebook and Twitter. So this is one of the things that we can use. We can use these methods to interact with different people, with different leaders in our country. And this will bring about a very, very good usage of social media. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Peace.
Yes, thank you so much.
Question.
Yes. Yeah, I totally actually agree with Gasparino, but I will add something. Social media actually, up to now we have seen that social media can help people to develop and can also help people to not develop, to remain in the chaotic situation. Young people can express their ideas. As Gasparino said, the way they can engage with the policymakers is by Twitter. When we write to the Secretary General or the Secretary of our their ideas through the social media, but also it's not meant to destroy the country or to destroy the region. Young people should be engaged more in making peaceful decisions that can lead, because we can think about development, but we cannot develop without security. Meaning young people can involve in those decisions. Like by the time there was an attack in Garissa, and that attack led to young people from Uganda to create a summit on terrorism, to fight terrorism. Call upon young people of the East African community to talk about terrorism and to say no to terrorism. Because of that attack, meaning that to build to our own. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the answers you have given so far. And this Google Hangout was broadcasted basically, and just for a quick recap, like I would like us, for the people who were not here from the beginning, like can you introduce yourself once again so that they can know who you are, and move on to the question from the people in the audience basically. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Gasparino Gordian Haule. I am the East African Community Youth Ambassador to Tanzania, and also I'm the student of International Relations and Diplomacy from the University of Dodoma, Tanzania.
Thank you. My name is Mukazi. I'm the East African Community in the Republic of Rwanda, and I'm a student of international relations in Kigali Independent University.
And my name is Melissa Husanganwa, and I'm the Deputy CEO of the Global Institute for Youth. And basically, this Google Hangout was about the role of the youth in East African community integration. And as we know, with the Global Institute for Youth, we basically focus on advocating leadership in development and give youth tools that are needed to create a positive changes in their communities. So it was really crucial for us to discuss about the East African community and know what to do basically in that region. So from the audience, we got 2 questions so far. And the first question is, just give me a second. Yeah, so the first question is from Michaela Munyuza from Twitter. And she asked, her question is, involvement in decision making is tied to awareness and access to education and information. Do you have any examples of cases that occurred, that worked, sorry. So basically, do you have any example of cases that worked?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. Involvement in decision making is tied to awareness and access to education and information. So do you have any example of cases that worked?
Please, were you saying something?
Yes, it's something that really lead to education, and in the decision making actually, the first process for young people to intervene, to contribute in decision making, is by policies making. When policymakers understand what they want. And up to now, we have a youth policy in the East African community, which was made by young people. They suggested example. And for the awareness, that's one of our main work to sensitize. By sensitizing them, we teach them about the East African community. And the continuous discussion within the clubs is another sort of raising awareness on the ESC integration. Thank you.
Thank you, Gasparino.
One of the example that has worked, I can give the example by the youth ambassadors that we petitioned EYALA, the East African Community Legislative Assembly, and our petition was directly taken to the Committee of Special Purpose for them to start working on it. So I think in the near future we are going to have the East African Community Legislative Assembly, which has the highest number of young people within it, according to our petition. If our petition will be taken into force, and I think it will be taken into force because we are always working on it to see where they have reached. So if we decide together to do something, that thing will work for real. So I would like to argue, Michaela, to see like these things we are talking about, they really work.
Yeah, thank you very much. So another question that we have is coming from Enoch Soa, and the question is basically, how does the East African community integration fit into the broader mission of overall African unity? I'll start by Gasparino and then Peace.
Okay, if Enoch, I would like to answer Enoch Soa. Like if you see at the, if you look at the motto of the EAC, East African Community, it is one people, one destiny, and that is the major aim of the East African Community to bring about this one people, one destiny. And if you come in historical terms, you'll see like the African unity was the main aim of the African Union was the Pan-Africanism, like to make all the African people as one people. And you can see now like there are two scholars who say like one said like we have to start by building our blocks, like building countries which are near geographically so as to come up with one African united. So you cannot have one African united if Kenya and Tanzania, who are neighbors, are not in friendly relationships. You won't expect Tanzania to have good relations with Egypt, for example, which is thousands of miles away. If it doesn't have good relationship with Burundi, which is just bordering her. So the aim of the AU will be met only if we have these blocks, like we have these small regional corporations which will bring the Africa into one. And as you can refer to the motion of the East African Community, which says one people, one destiny, you can understand like it is related to the mission of the African Union. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answers, Gasparino and Peace. In the name of the Global Institute for Youth, I would like to thank you very much. Peace, go ahead. Hello, I thought I lost you there. Can you hear me? I think we've lost her again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, I can add something.
Yeah.
Hello? Oh.
Yeah, Peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you answer the question?
Yes, I can just add something. One of the economic integration, as one of the region that can boost the economy of the African Union. And it's better that people can be united if also they have a good economic situation, if they have economic stability, which the East African Community have shown a big progress in improving the economic stability of the whole Africa. And that's in some sort a way of unifying the whole people of Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answers. And I would like to, as in the name of the Global Institute for the Youth, I would like to say thank you very much for your time, to give us your time and your answers. And I would like to also thank the audience that have been listening through the whole time. And I would also want to add that if anyone wants to learn more about us and our programs, please check our website on the www.globalinstituteforyouth.org. And I would like also again to say thank you for our guest speakers, Gasparino and Peace. And yeah, have a nice day. And see you soon.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Melody.
Okay, bye-bye.